In progress.
All right, traders. So I wanted to go over that NAS 100 because I was looking at it and this was aggressive selling pressure right here. And the reason why I didn't take it, because if you do that, like that would have been the supply. So we actually took the buy, and I shaping it up off of the M1. I went on the M1 and did that. So I wasn't really concerned about this one, even though I told you guys right here was TP1, the whole TP1 to be right here just in case it did drop. And this was TP2. So what I was looking at, and we brilliantly caught this trade. This the market this week was kind of a lot of trades were leaving us, but that happens. That happens in trading. That's what I was trying to explain to you guys. When you have a setup, you wait for the setup, and let's just say this never came down here and tapped, then well, guess what? Just miss it. And I'm okay with that. Now I gave you guys, so okay, let's just go over it. So this is how we entered. It came down, and that's the candle that entered into the demand. After making this long candle and filling in the imbalance, right? So we fill the imbalance. So all you just need is to see if this candle breaks or a new candle break. And this is exactly what happened. So we got that candle. That was the break. This is why it's very important that you understand how to take the break a candle. And I put mines right there because sometimes you don't need to put it below the zone. But right here would have been 2R. If you had it, well, let's see. Wait a minute. This would have been 2R. We had more than 2R on that trade. I messed up. I was saying 2% gain. I had my stuff right here. And my lot sizes, but I messed up on my lot size. I made this a 2% gain. This was supposed to be a 3. This was supposed to be a 3.8. I didn't do it right. I didn't go and put the right lot size in. Boo hoo for me. Hopefully you guys did. So this would have been a 1 to 3.84. Or if you got right there, then it'd have been a 2.55, which that's cool. Me, I had it down here. So that was boo hoo for me. These were my targets. And actually, so we took the trade. My projection was right here, honestly, because I know these areas are areas that are little small supplies, but NAS 100 is a bullish instrument. So yeah, you're gonna get reactions off of these areas, but ultimately, I wanted to target this because it left such a big gap, and I knew that gap needed to be filled. And then he probably was gonna get a sell off of there, better than getting a sell right here, because this is not a deep enough pullback. So what ended up happening is you guys, the one I gave you guys, because I left a little runner. So it looked beautiful and it tagged you guys out. So y'all got the 1 or 2. But for me, I closed maybe because I twin traded this. I closed one position and then I closed half of the other position and I put it at break even. I think no, I did not put it at break even. I'm tripping. So I'm over here. I did that. I did a break. This I'm thinking about another trade. The AU that we took later on. What was that, Sunday? So this is what happened. It came right there. It gave you a sell signal, and it utterly destroyed that. I mean, you could have probably took the sell. It would have been a baby sell. So this got broken, and it went directly there, up there to that, and filled that gap in. And I was a part of all of this. So you could have had another position on the smaller time frame to take that, but that was the gap that needed to be filled was right there. It filled it, it came down, it came back, and then it came tapped the zone. This, when it does these things like this, where it comes down and wicks the zone and come back in, these are the ones that you could take aggressive entries off of. Okay, if you wanted to aggressively get back in, right there, right at the tip, there's nothing wrong with that. There's really nothing wrong with that. Though it's because this is an institutional candle. An institutional candle came in, tapped the zone one more time, and went up. And those are only times that we can enter in aggressively. Any other time, it's better to just follow a system and a flow of just waiting for the candle to break, and you'll be fine. But again, keeping your notes on this video. This institution, when you see stuff like this, bounce, bounce, and then a whole bunch of stuff, and probably the volume was probably high too. And so you see the volume was very high. There was an institutional candle that came down to tap it one more time and then shoot up. You can take those taps like that because you got to know that. So that comes with experience. Let's just keep it like that. That comes with experience. It got to the target. It got to the target I gave you guys, and got to the target that I wanted. I wanted to at least get us somewhere around 4.5% gain for the week because a lot of our trades were leaving without us. Especially that GU. We had that setup, and GU filled half of that gap in. I don't even remember exactly where it's at. It filled a gap in and went without us. And then I was gonna give out a UJ. I forgot where it was at. But what it is, it was our EJ. I gave out a EJ setup. And news made it. It was at night during London session. It was this one. So it was just so messy. This whipsaw happened because of news. So it went like this, guys. So, because I don't know, I got back in. I was telling you guys we were somewhere right here, and I was like, look, when it gets right here, we want to take the break of the candle and take it to up here, or maybe just to this high. Actually, we were going up to the previous high, but outside the wicks. So what ended up happening at night? It tagged. So I got I had the little notification on there, and it tagged it, and it did this at night, and I'm like, okay, that just told me it rejected because of the news. So what I did is, and I should have just told you guys. I don't know if it comes back to the zone. See what that did right there? The break of the candle would have been right. Well, I'm looking on the wrong stuff. Wow. But you get what I'm saying. So there was this an M15? So we would have got in right there and been coming up here. I know this looks a little sloppy. Let's take these off that. Let me just take these off. It's looking a little bit too sloppy for me. And then do that. So we're back in, stops below, and we're coming back there. Don't be afraid to get back in. I guess I didn't say that. Sometimes it's okay to get back in, especially if your zone didn't get broke. This showed me that this zone wasn't trying to break. So I got back in, and then that's when this candle right here is when I updated and said, hey, I'm closing out, because at that point I was up 1%, and I ain't like how I was looking and stuff. I just didn't want to deal with it. And I closed out with 1%. And hopefully you guys did too. Or if you kept it, I mean, that's good too, because I mean, eventually it went up. But it started tapping back down, and I didn't feel like dealing with all that, especially after this whipsaw. This whipsaw is just nasty. And I mean, it never hit stop loss. Let's go to. It never hit stop loss, but it was just looking too choppy on the M15, and it eventually went up there. I don't know if it hit TP. Okay, so it hit TP right there. We could have. Was that TP? Nah, I don't know. Oh, there you go. So we could have kept that EJ to that supply. But I just didn't like. I didn't like the choppiness that was going on during New York session, and I wanted us to at least get some profits off of that. But still a solid week. If you come back and if you look, we had a 4.5% gain this week after that NAS 100 trade that we took. The New Zealand dollar, I just let it go. It didn't break no candle. What it did is it came up there and then came back down. I was like, I don't feel like dealing with New Zealand dollar at the moment. We might be looking at it next week. Matter of fact, let's see what it did off that zone. I think this is the zone, isn't it? Yeah. So, also it did push up that day. So we'd have been cool, but I just didn't. I don't know. The dollar been acting kind of funky, so I just didn't take. I didn't want to give it to you guys because it was just not looking right. But it would have went our way. It wouldn't have went all the way up there, but we could have got a decent, maybe a decent 30 pip push off of it. But it didn't go all the way up there. I wanted to come fill these gaps in, but it's cool. It's not what I want. It's what the market wants to do. Um, Odd New Zealand. Um, it had a nice push up, and I was looking for us to get in on these M15 setups, but they just kept invalidating and just dropping. Then we had this one that got invalidated, and we wanted to take this one, but it never came down and filled in that gap. It just left without us because that's the move that we were looking for. And that one left without us. There it is right there. We was like, okay, it's going to come back. We made all these gaps and imbalances. Let's come down to this demand. It tipped down there just a little bit and then flew up. And I was like, ah. Then that CAD JPY, only reason I called this CAD JPY out is I thought it was Canada news that day, but it wasn't. The Canada news was actually the other day. So that didn't work anyway because see, I said sorry, Canadian news tomorrow, but it ended up being invalid. It never created the setup that confirmation. So that one was just not for us, and that's the EJ that we took. I said I'm closing it out with 1%. So, what else did we have? We had this USD, the GBP new USD that had gaps and it never came up there. It just kept going and it went the direction that we wanted it to go. It never gave us that supply setup to fill that gap that was on there. So that left without us, and there it is right there. It created the gaps. So one gap right there, a gap right there. Just never wanted to come down there and give us the move, but it would have hit TP if it would have came up there. So we know that the strategy that we're using works. And there's the GJ. I forgot what happened with GJ. I think it ended up being invalid. It never really gave us a break of candle or anything. So it's not like like if you look at our winning streak, um, even this week, let's look at the winning streak because I want you guys to see this is a win. This was invalid, so that's nothing. Invalid, 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 invalid. Considered a win. So we 2-0 this week. Last week. Invalid. What was that? Invalid. Yeah, that was invalid. 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 Which one was this? That never even did anything. Invalid. We missed that one because of that gap. It never fills that gap in. Invalid. That one was a miss. So that's 2-1. And then we hit this at the beginning of the week. So we're 3-1. We were 75% win rate this week. And this is what I'm talking about, family. Every week, if you go and look, don't look at the ones that are invalid, doesn't count as a win or a loss. No trade was put in. No position is a position. I learned that a long time ago by a very great trader. So we're 75% win rate this week. Most of the weeks we're at about 75% win rate. Our win rate is high. We miss out on certain trades, and I'm okay with it. You should be picky about your trades anyway. Be very much so picky. But 75% win rate, which in a 4.5% gain, and you're doing that every week, there's no reason for you not to be successful in Forex. We're not taking too many trades. I mean, obviously, I want you guys to trade on your own, but I want you guys to trade exactly how the edge that I'm teaching is set up. So I'm gonna put that in there. So 75% win rate last week and most of the week. 75 to about 80% win rate. That's where we're at. That's what I'm telling you guys. I want y'all to understand, like what I teach. I want you to keep going, getting in these courses, take these courses, understand them. I'm gonna do some updates on the courses. I got another video to make, so we're gonna keep tweaking it. If you don't understand something, we get on some Zoom calls. If you're just a person that's watching this from YouTube and want to join, hit me up. You know what I'm saying? Like we're doing the thing. That's a 4.5, like with a prop firm account. That's a 4.5% gain for the week. But you gotta put the right lot sizes in. Like, but I want to illustrate this before I go. We're trading off the M5, right? Let's go to our favorite AU. So that was a was there a setup on AU that one day? Just pick something nice. I see. I'm looking at them, but I'm not paying attention to them. That gap. I remember that gap. Okay. Here's a nice setup. Here's a demand right here. Came back, tapped it. And actually, once you tapped it, you want to take the break of that candle. Here, the candle, you put the stop loss either below the zone or below the wick. And you can go for the highs of, yeah, see this whole move. Let's just say this was a 1-on-1. I'm just giving an illustration. So you was coming for this high and it hit your TP. Or you going for a 1-to-1. Here's a 1-to-1 right here. It's a decent old 1-to-1, even though you could target at least half of this move right here. So let's do that. So this whole move that has this imbalance, the middle is probably pretty much where it's at right there was the middle. It turned around at the middle. And sometimes that happens. All right, so that was your TP for that move. All right. Let's look and see. Depending on where your stop loss is. See, now your stop loss is 11 pips, right? So you need to make sure at 11 pips, your lot size is 1%, right? That's the first thing you want to do. Make sure that lot size is 11 pips at 1%. All right, so now we got that part. You always want to make sure you got your losses covered. Now the TP is 27 pips, right? If your stop loss is 11 pips at 1% and your TP is at 27, so 11 times 2 is 22. So at 22 pips, right there, you're at 2% right there. And then right here, you're like 2.3% gain off of that one trade right there. That's how you want to do it. So I stress it because I know that people are probably not doing it. Not because I wasn't doing it at first, and it's hard sometimes. So when you have the setup and I'm telling you, hey, when it comes back down here and tap, we're getting in at the break of the candle, right? Stops below the zone, blah, 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 blah. So you got it, it comes down, it fills in that move right there. So that is the rejection candle at this point. Anything that goes in, okay, so when it comes to rejection candle, at this point, your entry is going to be above it. You can put the stop loss at the wick of that, or right there. I mean, it all depends on your flavor. Me, I like to get it a little closer as much as I can, but sometimes majority I just put it at the end. It all depends. So I'm waiting. So I'm in the trade right there. Nothing went below that candle. So I would have had it right there. Nothing went below that candle. And then the rest is history. But you already saw what happened. But the rest is history. Just so you can see it. And back testing is very important. Y'all need to be back testing. Back test. Back test this. Make sure you back test so you can see these moves happen. For yourself. That way you could be a better trader. You could take my setups. Yeah, they're there. That's what you're paying for. But you're also paying for Zoom calls, and you're paying for to have to access to that to have access to the videos, the private videos. Where my where is it? The trading course. This is private. You have to be a part of this thing to get this. You can't just jump in and get into it. And all of the trading plan things, all of the stuff that I'm talking about, and all that. And there's going to be other channels to come too, just to be a little bit more organized and stuff. Use me so you could become profitable. See, we were part of, like I said, we were part of IML. We was a part of Bruce, and I mean, I'm not trying to get get on Bruce, but Bruce's trading style was not precise in what a lot of people wanted. A lot of people complained about Bruce. Majority of his people were complaining, and he didn't want to take the constructive criticism. And I understand that it's hard and all that, but here's the student setups. I want to see some of y'all setups too, but it wasn't a trading style. I mean, catching M's and W's and all that—that's basic. That should be a part of a strategy, not a strategy, but we learned that from IML, and IML thought they can get away with just teaching the strategies, basic strategies, and then telling you to recruit all day. And now look at it. IML is deteriorating, and a lot of these people are leaving, but the real traders stayed. The real traders that wanted to trade and do what they had to do stayed. And some of us got new groups and stuff and start IML 2.0 up in here, but we don't want that. But yeah, definitely contact me, and let's get ready to take your trading to the next level of patience and taking the edge. Never doing trading errors, and trading errors are not having a right stop loss on there. You look at your MetaTrader account, and you're supposed to be risking $50 to $100 a trade, or let's just say you're supposed to be risking $100 a trade. But we go in your MetaTrader and it's at negative 500 this trade, negative 50 this trade, negative 885 this. That's a risk error. That means you're not following a plan. Your stop losses should always be the same, and you should allow your trades to hit TP too. So those are trading errors if you're not doing it. And if you don't master that little small thing right there, man, probability will be out the window for you. Like for real. But yeah. But that'll conclude the video for this week. I something else I was going to talk about, but it's okay. I'll just see you guys on the next video, and we will start next week with a bang. Peace.